The jungle seethes. Choppers roar through the humid air. The smell of napalm hangs heavy. This is Vietnam, the year 1968. A brutal conflict rages. American soldiers fight in a confusing, hostile land. They face a determined enemy, the Viet Cong, masters of guerrilla warfare. The jungle itself seems to fight back. Heat, insects, and disease are constant enemies. In this crucible of courage, stories of extraordinary bravery emerge. Men pushed to their limits, forced to confront their own mortality. Amidst the chaos and carnage, one man's actions will echo throughout history. His name is Roy Benavidez. His story is one of incredible valor. Roy Benavidez, a Green Beret, a soldier's soldier. He embodies the warrior spirit. His courage knows no bounds. But his story begins far from the battlefields of Vietnam. It starts in the heart of Texas. His journey is one of resilience, of overcoming adversity. He rises from humble beginnings. He faces prejudice and hardship, but his spirit never breaks. Instead, it hardens. He carries within him the values of his heritage: courage, determination, and an unwavering sense of duty. By state, dust devils dance across the Texas plains. The sun beats down on a small, humble farm near Cuero. Here, in 1935, Roy Benavidez takes his first breath. Life is hard in the Depression-era South. Hardship is a constant companion. Roy is a child of Mexican-American descent. He's a descendant of the founders of Benavidez, Texas, and was the son of a Mexican farmer, Salvador Benavidez Jr., and a Yaqui mother, Teresa Perez. But he learns resilience from his family. They are his rock, his foundation. Tragedy strikes early. At 2 years old, his father died of tuberculosis and his mother remarried. 5 years later, his mother died from tuberculosis as well. He and his younger brother are orphaned. They find refuge with their grandfather, uncle, and aunt in El Campo, raised alongside 8 cousins. Their love helps fill the void, but the experience leaves a scar. It ignites a fire in Roy's heart, a burning desire to make a difference. The Korean War erupts. Roy watches his young man answer the call to arms. He feels a tug at his own sense of duty, a desire to serve his country, to prove his worth, to honor the sacrifices of those before him. He's only 17, too young to enlist, but he's undeterred. He convinces his guardian to sign the papers. In 1952, Roy Benavidez becomes a soldier in the Texas Army National Guard. He trades the cotton fields of Texas for the rigors of military life. He embraces the challenges of basic training, the physical demands, the discipline, the camaraderie. He excels in his role. In June 1955, he switched from the Army National Guard to Army active duty. In 1959, he married Hilaria Lalacoy and completes airborne training and is assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. His natural leadership qualities shine through. He earns the respect of his fellow soldiers. They see in him a quiet strength, an unwavering determination. After airborne training, he joins the 82nd Airborne Division and trains as a paratrooper. He takes to the skies with courage and a thirst for adventure, each jump a test of his mettle. Each landing, a small victory. His reputation as a skilled and fearless soldier grows. He volunteers for a new kind of warfare, unconventional, dangerous, elite. He sets his sights on the Green Berets, the Army Special Forces. The training is grueling. It pushes him to the very edge of his physical and mental limits. He endures intense jungle warfare, training in Panama, learns the art of survival, masters the use of weapons and explosives, and becomes fluent in Vietnamese. Roy Benavidez emerges from the crucible a weapon. He's a Green Beret, a symbol of excellence, a warrior forged in the fires of adversity, ready to face any challenge, ready to answer his country's call, even in the depths of hell itself. A young Roy Benavidez steps off a plane. The humid air of Vietnam hits him. The smell is unfamiliar, exotic, a world away from the dusty plains of Texas. He's here as an advisor, part of a small team. Their mission, train South Vietnamese forces, prepare them for the growing communist threat. He embraces the challenge, throws himself into his work. He teaches the Vietnamese soldiers, shares his knowledge, his combat experience from Korea. He earns their respect. They call him Captain Roy, a testament to his leadership, his dedication. But the war escalates. The Viet Cong grow bolder. The conflict deepens. Roy witnesses the horrors firsthand, the brutality, the human cost. He sees friends wounded, some lost. Casualties in a war that seems to have no end. Through it all, Roy remains steadfast, his spirit unbroken. He clings to his faith, his belief in duty, his determination to make a difference. He doesn't know it yet, but his greatest test is yet to come. A trial by fire, a date with destiny. The year is 1965. During his tour of duty, Roy goes on a solo reconnaissance mission to gather intel on the enemy troops. It was at this moment that he stepped on a landmine during a patrol and was evacuated to the United States. Doctors at Fort Sam Houston concluded he would never walk again and began preparing his medical discharge papers. Stung by the diagnosis, as well as flag burnings and media criticism of the U.S. military presence in Vietnam he saw on TV, he began an unsanctioned nightly training ritual in an attempt to redevelop his ability to walk again. Getting out of bed at night, Benavidez would crawl using his elbows and chin to a wall near his bedside, and he would prop himself against the wall and attempt to lift himself unaided, starting by wiggling his toes, then his feet, and then eventually, after several months of excruciating practice that, by his own admission, often left him in tears, pushing himself up the wall with his ankles and legs. After over a year of hospitalization, Benavidez walked out of the hospital in July 1966 with his wife at his side, determined to return to combat in Vietnam. The year is 1968. The Vietnam War is a raging inferno. The United States is deeply involved. The call for troops intensifies. Roy, now a seasoned veteran, the desire to join the fight intensifies. He knows he can't stay on the sidelines, not while others are fighting, not while his skills are needed. He volunteers for another tour in Vietnam. He rejoins the fight, this time with the Studies and Observations Group, a top-secret unit. Their missions are dangerous, clandestine. Roy thrives in this environment. The danger electrifies him. He pushes himself to the limit. He participates in countless missions behind enemy lines, gathering intelligence, rescuing downed pilots. He faces death at every turn. Each mission a testament to his courage, his dedication to his comrades, his unwavering commitment to the mission. He becomes a legend within the Special Forces. A whisper of his name strikes fear in the hearts of the enemy. It's 1968. Roy is stationed at Loc Ninh, a remote base camp close to the Cambodian border. The air is thick with tension. The enemy is everywhere but unseen, a constant threat lurking in the shadows. May 2nd, 1968, Roy Benavidez goes about his day. A message crackles over the radio. Static, then a voice. Urgent. A call sign. Familiar. It's a call from his past, from his time with the Studies and Observations Group. A team is in trouble, surrounded, outnumbered. Their position is about to be overrun. Roy's heart races. He knows that call sign. It's his old team, his friends. They're in a fight for their lives. He doesn't hesitate. He knows he has to do something. He grabs his gear, races to find his commanding officer. He pleads for permission to join the rescue mission. His request is denied. He's still recovering, deemed unfit for combat. But Roy is undeterred. He can't stand by. Not while his brothers are in danger. He disobeys orders. He sneaks onto a departing helicopter, his mind made up. 6 hours in hell. The helicopter roars over the jungle, a mechanical dragonfly descending into the green inferno. Below, a scene of chaos unfolds. Explosions rip through the air. Smoke billows skyward. The desperate crackle of gunfire echoes through the trees. Roy can see the enemy everywhere, closing in on a small group of American soldiers, trapped, outnumbered, fighting for their lives. Armed only with a knife, he jumped from the helicopter, which was 30-40 FT off the ground, carrying his medical bag, and ran to help the trapped patrol. He charges into the fray, knife in hand. He's a man possessed, driven by a primal urge to protect his brothers, to save as many as he can. He fights his way to the trapped soldiers, a small team of green berets. They're surrounded by hundreds of enemy soldiers. Their ammunition is running low. They're wounded, exhausted, but their spirits are unbroken. Roy rallies them, takes command. He directs their fire, calls in airstrikes. He's everywhere at once. A one-man army. The battle rages for hours. 6 hours of relentless combat. Hand-to-hand fighting. Explosions rocking the earth. The air thick with the smell of blood and gunpowder. Roy is a whirlwind of destruction. He takes bullet after bullet, stabbed multiple times. But he refuses to fall. He's fighting for his life, for the lives of his men, for his country. Roy's body is riddled with pain, every breath a struggle, every movement an agony. Yet he pushes on, his resolve fueled by adrenaline, by duty, by the sight of his wounded comrades. He knows he can't give up, not now, not when they need him the most. He spots a clearing, a chance to evacuate the wounded. He gathers the men, organizes a fighting retreat. They scramble towards the helicopters, enemy fire raining down on them. Roy stays behind, providing cover fire, laying down a withering barrage, keeping the enemy at bay. Finally, the last helicopter lifts off. The wounded are safe, but Roy is still on the ground, surrounded, outnumbered. He's been shot again. This time, it's bad. He collapses to the ground, his vision fading. He thinks of his family, his friends, his country. He closes his eyes, ready to meet his maker. The world fades in and out of focus. The whir of helicopter blades, the smell of antiseptic, the murmur of voices. After the battle, Roy is evacuated to the base camp, examined, and thought to be dead. As he was placed in a body bag among the other dead in body bags, he was suddenly recognized by a friend who called for help. A doctor came and examined him, but believed Benavidez was dead. The doctor was about to zip up the body bag when Benavidez managed to spit in his face to show that he was alive. Benavidez had a total of 37 separate bullet, bayonet, and shrapnel wounds from the 6-hour fight with the enemy battalion. Roy Benavidez is alive, but barely. He's arrived at a field hospital, his body riddled with wounds. Doctors work feverishly, trying to piece him back together. He spends months in and out of consciousness, his body racked with pain, haunted by nightmares, visions of the battlefield, the cries of the wounded, the faces of the fallen. But slowly, he begins to heal. His spirit, though battered, refuses to break. He undergoes countless surgeries, endures painful physical therapy. He learns to walk again, to use his mangled hands. Each small victory a testament to his iron will, his unwavering determination to overcome, to live, to honor the sacrifices of those who didn't make it home. The doctors are amazed by his recovery. They call him a medical marvel, a walking miracle. But Roy knows the truth. He may have survived the battlefield, but the scars of war run deep. They will stay with him forever, a reminder of the price of freedom, of the sacrifices made, of the brothers lost. Word of Roy's heroism spreads, whispers at first, then a roar, reports from the battlefield, eyewitness accounts from the men he saved. They tell of his unparalleled courage, his unwavering selflessness, his willingness to face certain death to save his comrades. The Army reviews his actions. The initial reports were wrong. Roy wasn't supposed to be in that fight. He disobeyed orders. He charged into hell itself, armed only with his courage and a knife, and he saved the lives of at least 8 men. The nation takes notice. This quiet warrior, this humble son of Texas, he embodies the very essence of American heroism. His story resonates with a nation weary of war, but hungry for heroes, for stories of courage, of sacrifice, of the indomitable spirit that resides within the heart of every soldier. On February 24, 1981, President Ronald Reagan presents Roy P. Benavidez with the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest military decoration, awarded for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty. Life after Vietnam is a new kind of battle, adjusting to peacetime, coping with the physical and emotional scars. But Roy Benavidez is not one to shy away from a challenge. He embraces his role as a hero, but never forgets the true cost of war. He travels the country, speaking at schools, veterans events, sharing his story, not to glorify war, but to honor those who served, to remind people of the sacrifices made, to inspire a new generation with his message of courage, duty, and patriotism. He becomes an advocate for veterans, fighting for their rights, ensuring they receive the care and recognition they deserve. He knows that the true heroes are not those who seek glory, but those who serve others, who put their lives on the line for their country, for their comrades. Roy P. Benavidez, the name becomes synonymous with courage, with sacrifice, with the indomitable spirit of the American soldier. He is a testament to the human capacity for resilience, for compassion, for unwavering love of country. His legacy continues to inspire, a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can triumph. Roy Benavidez returned to Texas, a hero. But he never sought the limelight. He remained the same humble man, grounded by his faith, his family, the values of his youth. He carried the weight of his experiences, the physical pain, the emotional scars, but he never let them break him. He found solace in simple things, the love of his family, the camaraderie of fellow veterans. He continued to serve his community, visiting schools, speaking at events, always ready with a kind word, a warm smile, a reminder that even in the face of darkness, hope endures. He never forgot the men he served with, the ones who never came home. He honored their memory, kept their stories alive, a testament to their sacrifice, a reminder that freedom is not free. It is bought and paid for with the blood of heroes. Roy Benavidez lived a life of purpose. He faced unimaginable challenges, endured unimaginable pain, but he emerged from the crucible of war a symbol of hope, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. Roy P. Benavidez passed away on November 29, 1998. He was laid to rest with full military honors. A nation mourned the loss of a hero. But his legacy lived on in the hearts of those he touched, in the annals of military history. Schools, parks, and military installations, all across the country, they bear his name, a constant reminder of his courage, his sacrifice, his unwavering commitment to duty. His story continues to inspire generations of Americans. Roy Benavidez's story is a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, courage can prevail. That one person can make a difference. That even in the face of overwhelming odds, hope endures. Roy Benavidez's legacy is not just about war, it's about life. It's about facing your fears, overcoming adversity, standing up for what you believe in. It's about living a life of purpose, of service, of honor. A life worthy of the sacrifices made by those who came before us. A life that matters. A life well lived.